joining us now to talk about that as well as today's remarkable day is House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. He joins us live on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, it is an honor to have you on the program.
Hey, Dan, it's great to be with you. And how about the President of Peace?
It is
big day.
Absolutely remarkable. And in fact, sir, before you came on, I was talking about the 5 months ago today announcement at the tech conference in Riyadh, where President Trump gathered with the nation's number of leaders of the Middle East and announced that, hey, we can have a new strategy. It's called Commerce, Not Chaos. And we can strengthen our ties. It's sort of an extension of the Abraham Accords. And what he did was say, okay, look, all you have to do is essentially renounce terror, actually have normalized relations with Israel, and you will get all the benefit of the American dollar. You will get partnership, full partnership with the United States. I believe, sir, that President Trump, the master negotiator, drew a direct line from that speech exactly 5 months ago to today, October 13th. And the incredible joy that we're now experiencing because of the release of the hostages. Do you believe that that is sort of the reason that we're here, because of the strengthened ties with other Middle Eastern allies such as the UAE and Saudi Arabia?
No question, Dan, but it's also because one guy has credibility. That's Donald J. Trump. I mean, when he says something, he does it. And they had to deal with 4 years of slow Joe Biden, who didn't even know where he was. He was so weak and feckless, and that Antony Blinken and the other losers that were in the Biden administration, they didn't have any respect for those people. Donald J. Trump enters back onto the world stage, and guess what? Things start happening because he is the President of Peace. He's also the guy who, I think you make a great point that he gave them that idea of prosperity instead of chaos with the U.S. But that's just part of it. That's part of a bigger thing, Dan. And it is that this guy says something and he means it, and they know it.
Well, this was obviously tied into the maximum pressure campaign on Iran. Instead of freeing up $6 billion in frozen Iranian assets, as the Biden administration did just 2 months before October 7th, what did President Trump do? He destroyed their nuclear capabilities. I mean, it does not get more peace through strength than that. I mean, it just, every move, it seems, over the last 5 months has been designed to isolate Iran, has been designed to keep the pressure on the Palestinians and increasingly isolate Hamas and cut it off from its primary patron in Iran. And at the same time, advancing the notion of the Abraham Accords and just drawing everyone else in closer. I mean, to me, it was just a brilliant strategy. And I think there's no doubt about it. He is the President of Peace. Now, I guess the question I have, sir, is does this sort of prove that it's easier to negotiate with Hamas terrorists than it is with congressional Democrats?
Yes, although I don't know if you follow that great Babylon Bee.
Oh, yeah.
That, I think they had a headline yesterday that was so apropos. It said, leftists protest the end of genocide, take the streets to protest the end of genocide.
That's about right.
They're just not happy about, they're just not happy about anything. And boy, your Senator, Tammy Baldwin, she's now voted 7 times to keep our government shut down. And she's leaving Wisconsin and Wisconsinites, Dan, to pay the price. And it's a big price.
She certainly is. And obviously, the narrative is sort of switched on that now it is, well, it's Republicans control the presidency and the House and the Senate, while completely ignoring the fact that Democrats are filibustering the clean continuing resolution. What is the status of negotiations right now? Is there any chance that Democrats will ever pass a clean CR?
I think they're going to have to. The answer to that question is yes. And I mean, the narrative, it's this biased, present company excluded. It's this biased left-wing national news media that reports that there was a standalone bipartisan bill to pay our troops last week that Republicans didn't bring. Dan, the reason our speaker didn't bring it is because we voted to pay our troops on September 19th.
Yes.
Tammy Baldwin keeps voting not to pay our troops. Why would we let the Democrats who made this statement in the House, all of them but one, voted not to pay our troops back on September 19th, and now they want to come back and pay the troops and not do anything else? It's ludicrous. And think about the damage right now that's happening in your state, Dan. Mm-hmm. The Council of Economic Advisors estimates Wisconsin's gross state product is going to decline by about $234 million each week the shutdown extends. That's the equivalent of around $1 billion per month while the government is shut down. I guess Tammy Baldwin doesn't care about our troops, and she doesn't care about this. And what they're not pointing out is that because of the rules, you just need a simple majority to pass the clean CR out of the House. We did it with all Republican votes and one Democrat. In the Senate, they still have a rule that requires something called cloture to get it to the floor. You got to have 60 votes. We've only got 53 Republicans, which means Democrats have to supply the rest of the votes. And right now, your senator is one of the ones that is refusing to reopen the government. By the way, I got to add, Dan, it's so hypocritical, too, because just 6 months ago, Chuck Schumer, Tammy Baldwin, all of these Democrats in the Senate supported the exact same continuing resolution. And by the way, they also voted for the exact same bill 13 times under Joe Biden. Yeah. What's changed? The only thing that's changed is Donald Trump, and they hate Donald Trump. And this is to score points with their whack leftist radicals, who, by the way, there's a rumor here that there's this Hate America rally taking place this coming Saturday, the 18th. Mm-hmm. There's a rumor going around that that's what they're waiting for, is the Hate America rally.
I have heard that as well, that there's just no chance that anything is going to be passed until then to get their shock troops all riled up and taking to the streets. Tom Emmer, House Majority Whip, is joining me here on the Dan O'Donnell Show. Sir, it's your job to make sure that there are enough votes to pass in the House. As you see it right now, who do you think are the vulnerable senators that might be able to get us to 60 votes? It's obviously not going to be Tammy Baldwin, because if there's one thing I know about her and her lengthy career in the Senate, it's that she will always vote how she's told. But is there a John Fetterman? Is there a Democrat that might be concerned about re-election? You might be able to cobble together 7 of them, or no?
Yeah, no, there is. And we already have Fetterman. So you already have Fetterman. You already have the senator from Nevada. And you'll also have the so-called, quote unquote, independent who actually caucuses with the Democrats and votes with the Democrats, but he calls himself an independent. You've got those 3. Right now, we need 5 more because Rand Paul, for some reason, doesn't want to vote for it. So we need 5 more. You got John Ossoff in Georgia, who should be looking very closely at this. You've got a couple of senators in Virginia who should be looking very closely at this, not necessarily because they're up for re-election, but because the governor's race that looked to be handily in the Democrats' column is now becoming closer and closer, other reasons included. But a lot of it has to do with the shutdown and the fact that you have all the federal employees that live in Virginia, and even more importantly, the federal contractors. Federal employees arguably could get back pay. Federal contractors, Dan, they're just out the money.
Yeah.
And there are others.
Well, and that's the biggest thing. I mean, that's what I don't think people are quite grasping, that there are so many contractors whose work just stops. And those who are furloughed are getting back pay, but those whose work just stops, well, sorry, you're kind of out of luck there. I'm so glad you made that point. The Office of Management and Budget under Russ Vought has made it very clear that the Trump administration is going to use this shutdown to take a long, hard look at redundant redundant programs, and salaried positions that don't fit in with the Trump administration's overall governance goals. And they are going to use this for significant reductions in force. Is this a good thing, or do you believe that potentially you lose the PR battle if Democrats can then say, well, the Trump administration wants this so they can just fire federal workers?
Yeah, well, if the Trump administration wants this, then why did they urge them to pass it? And why have they always been urging them to pass it? Obviously, OMB, the Office of Management and Budget, run by Russ Vought, they have a job to do. And Russ Vought is going to make these statements because that's what he has to look at. Our president, President Trump, wants it open and has made it very clear that if the Democrats refuse to allow the government to operate, that his administration, which includes Russ Vought, is going to have to make some very hard decisions, Dan. These are decisions to make sure that the critical employees, the essential employees, are actually getting paid during the shutdown. And those are the decisions. They've got to make a decision as to what is essential and what's not. Before we leave it, though, we also have to point out why more of these Democrat senators are going to have to take a hard look this week at voting to reopen the government. They know that their argument is completely without merit. They know this is all about Chuck Schumer trying to appease the minority, violent, radical left base that just doesn't like this country. Why do they know that? Never in our history has any party shut the government down over a clean CR. This is the first time it's ever happened. And what are they shutting it down for?
Great point.
They're shutting it down because they want another $1.5 trillion in spending, which includes putting illegals back on taxpayer-funded health care, Dan. By the way, they say this is about health care, and yet they want to put illegals back on taxpayer-funded health care, and they want to gut billions out of the rural health care account. And the list goes on and on. So at the end of the day, you want this to be over. All you got to do is pass the clean CR and let's get back to the negotiating table. If they don't want to do that, then expect the Trump administration and Russ Vought are going to have to make some serious decisions.
He is Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip. Sir, it was an absolute pleasure. Please do come back and join us again. I really did enjoy talking with you, sir, and best of luck in those negotiations.
Absolutely, Dan. Look forward to the next time.
All right.